What is goal setting?
All right. Goal setting is in one sense, it's a fun one. Everybody has their goals in life, and they talk about, oh, my goal's this and my goal's that, and so everybody has them. Everybody has them. To be a real goal setter, it's almost like going back to the Olympics. We call it the gold medal at the Olympics, or participating. So let's say you've got a 4-year goal. You need to break that down to yearly, and then you need to break down monthly and daily. So let's say somebody wants a new Ferrari. Let's call it a new Ferrari. And let's make it really simple figures. A new Ferrari, 3 years, it's $156,000 for a new Ferrari, which brings it down to $52,000 a year, which is $1,000 a week. Okay. So in a sense, you can test yourself if you really want that Ferrari. Have you earned an extra $1,000 this week after taxes, after everything else? Have you done the extra 20 hours a week needed to buy that Ferrari? So very quickly you'll find whether you really want that Ferrari or not, because people will always postpone it and things like that. So having any goal, any business goal, you need to break it down to what you have to do today. In some cases, it might be what you have to do this week, because you might be working, flat out on a project for 5 days, and then you've got those 2 days left over, and that's where you squeeze what you need for that week in that day. So goal setting is so simple. The challenge is it's the discipline of it. Everybody talks about, okay, I need to go to the gym. I weigh 20 kilos more than I should. 20 kilos is 140,000 calories. That means that for 140 days, I need to be 1,000 calories in deficit. So everything is very simple. Okay, the challenge goes back to the why. The why of doing the goal. What's going to push you? What's going to keep you motivated? And having yourself accountable to yourself. Okay, finding the reasons to do it. Sometimes it could be a father could want to show his children, that, okay, we can do this over a 6-month period. Dad's going to show us, blah, blah, blah. And so there's always those beautiful posters where you see the father walking on the beach, and you see the little boy who's 3 or 4 in dad's footsteps. So, sometimes with goal setting, find, once again, the why. Why am I going to do it? What happens if I don't do it? The challenge with goal setting is that a lot of people end up finding really good excuses all their life because they didn't achieve this goal or didn't achieve that goal. My suggestion with goal setting is start with not necessarily the Ferrari. Start with something that's a little bit more challenging. You might want to save up for a holiday somewhere, and so give yourself 6 months. Work a little bit extra on your business, and so for that 6-month period, don't make it difficult. Don't make it that you need to have $60,000. Make it $5,000, but have the discipline of doing it every single week, putting some money aside, and then once you've achieved that, that gives you that motivation to just achieve 20% more constantly. There's a thing where 1 cent a day doubling for 31 days or $1 million. What that means is that what would you rather, $1 million cash or 1 cent a day doubling for 31 days? So in my case, I chose the 1 cent a day doubling. At the end, you're looking at $7-8 million up against 1 million when you double. So sometimes, even after 10 years, you might only get to $2, but you're still, in that process of constantly. So once again, going back to the goals, start with some small ones. Have half a dozen small ones. You don't have to have anything big. You don't have to try and, get $1 million in the first year. You're just constantly pushing yourself. So that will make you have to learn and study a bit more so that you can get a little bit better, okay? If you're in business and you're selling anything, your closing rate, which means what percentage of customers say yes to you, if your closing rate is 30%, I had a painting business which my closing rate was 30%. I was happy with that. Now, if I needed to create more income in the same period of time, you would have to increase your closing rate so that you get more jobs, because this is the amount of appointments you have in a year. I had 1,000 appointments in a year. My closing rate, let's say before it was 20%, I needed it to be 30% to cover my budgets and all of that, and to cover the holidays and anything else I wanted. So I had to get better at things, and I had to have my company better, and I had to have my reputation better. So that's the thing where it's just little baby steps, but it's consistently doing it. Once again, if you've got those 10 little birds to feed, you're going to do it. They're your 10 little goals, all right? And you know exactly what you've got to do. None of this is complicated. It's all about how much you're prepared to, in one sense, get out of your comfort zone. And I'm not saying to somebody, to go from 0 to 1,000 miles an hour when you haven't learned how to drive yet. Yeah, it's just like walking, riding a bike, riding a motorbike, getting a car, so forth, so forth. So with goal setting, find out, what you're capable of, what you believe you're capable of, and just push it about 20%. And then if you push it 20% each year, after 10 years, you're looking at 1,000% more than what you started with.